Hey guys, welcome back. Today we are going to discuss on IPv4 address, one of the most interesting topics in networking. So this is basics of networking. IPv6 I'm going to take in some other video, but let's see what we need to understand on IPv4 address. So an example of IPv4 address would be 192.168.2.3. Each of these is an octet, 8 bits, 8, 8, 8, 8. So total 32 bits. IPv4 address is of 32 bits. So the maximum value here could be 1111111, and the minimum value could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So now if we convert that into decimal, so what you got to do is you got to do 1 plus 2 plus 4 plus 8 plus 16 plus 32 plus 64 plus 128. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you'll be getting 255. That is the reason we see the maximum range in IPv4 is 255. So 2 to the power 8 is 256, but we start with 0. So the maximum range which we can see is 255. You might see that in the subnet mask, default subnet mask for every class. So it's very important to understand the different classes of IPv4 addresses. So there are 5 classes. Class A with a range 0 till 127, class B 128 till 191, class C 192 till 223, class D is 224 till 239, class E is 240 till 255. So this is used in multicast and this is used in research and development. So these are the IP addresses which we see assigned in our networks to different devices, networking devices. Now, how you get this range? So there is actually a priority bit. Every class has a priority bit. So 0, 10, 110, 1110, 1111. 0, 10, 110, 110, 111. So we understand this is the range, but for the devices, they will understand with a priority bit, from which class this IP address is from. Is it, if the starting is 0, let me give an example. 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1. So which class IP address is this? So for that, you need to convert that. 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, 128. And then you will be adding these numbers which have 1. So 64 plus 16 plus 4 plus 1. So whatever number I'll be getting would be a number which is in this range. So I can say it's in class E. But routers or other devices will understand with the priority bit, okay, this is class A. So if I say 1010101010, this would be class B. 1110101010, this will be class C because it has 1110 at the beginning. So if you see an address which starts with 11110101, so it has 4 ones at the starting. So I can say it's a class E IP address. So these are probability bits, very important. So what you now do is you need to substitute that probability bit. So for example, if you see a range which starts with 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, and the maximum range is 1, 0, 1, 0, maximum 1, 1. So all ones, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then you substitute the probability bit here. So what you'll be getting these ranges here. So I'm not going that deep, but I'm showing you the technique how we got these range. You need to substitute those probability bits, and that is how we'll be getting the range. So it's very important to understand the range. And another important thing is to remember the private IP addresses. So there are 2 types of IP addresses. One is public and one is private. So public is what you pay for. When you go to Google and say, what's my IP? So that's your public IP. You're paying for that. Private IP, you're not paying, it's free. I might be using any range here. You might also be using the same range. So private IP is unique in my network. I cannot use same IP in my network, but yes, you can use same IP in your network. So private IP is specific to a particular network. Public IP is globally unique. So this is like your passport. And private IP is like your company ID. So if you see you got an ID card from your organization, it will be recognized within your organization. But if you see a passport, you can take it outside. So you'll be recognized everywhere with your passport. That's your public IP. You are paying for it. When you go to Google and say, what's my IP? That's your public IP. So for load balancing, we might be using two IPs, or we might also be doing NAT, where we do mapping of public and private IP, but we are not paying for these IPs. So there's a range for every class. In class A, if you see 10 dot anything like 10.1.0.4, this is class A private IP. So same goes for class B, 172.16.4.2. This is class B private. But here we need to be very cautious, because they ask questions in exam, in any exam, whatever you'll be trying to get certified. Is it Network Plus? Is it CCNA? Is it any other exam you're writing to work as a network engineer or a networking job? So here they'll be asking a lot of questions, because if you see an IP 172.14.5.2, this is public IP because it is not in the range. So the second octet should be between 16 till 31. So if I take another one, 172.35.4.9, this is also public. So the private, you need to check both octets. First octet should be 172, and the second octet should be between 16 till 31. So here they'll be asking a lot of questions. And in class C, if you see 192.162.168. anything, that's a private IP. Rest others are public IPs. So these are private IPs. You are not paying for it. So why they came up with the private range? Because IPv4 has a limited address space. 2 to the power 32, that is the address space. But if you check in IPv6, we have 2 to the power 128. So that means we have a lot of IP addresses. That's where IPv6 will be coming in. But right now we are using IPv4. Address space is limited. So that's the reason they come up with private range. And these are the private ranges. And this is very important formula, which we need to understand. For class A, it is n.h.h.h. So that means there are 8 network bits and 24 host bits. Class C has 16 and 16. B has 16. C has 24 and 8. So to understand that, it is depending on your requirement. So what you need, do you need more host in a network? Go for class A. If you need less number of hosts, for example, if you need a network with 254 hosts, because 2 to the power 8 is 256, but we use the first IP for network ID and the last for broadcast ID. So I'm going to take that in some other lecture, subnetting, to understand about network and broadcast ID. But here you can understand, if you take an IP from class C, then in that network you will have 254 hosts. So here you will have 254 into 254. So here you will have 254 into 254 into 254. So depending on your requirement, they were divided into classes. Do you need more networks or do you need more hosts? And accordingly, you can ask for that. Now, what are the kind of questions you can expect in any exam or certification? First, you need to understand which class. They will give you an IP address like 194.5.3.2. They will ask you which class IP address is this. But here, if you see, it comes in this range, it's a class C IP address. So this range is very important. Second question, they will ask you, are they in the same network or different network? So this formula is very important. For example, I will give you an IP 16.4.5.2, 16.3.9.4. So are they in same network or different network? First, I need to check which class is this. So this is 0 to 127. So first octet falls in this range. This is class A. So what is the formula for class A? Network.host.host.host. So that means first should match. So the network is going to match here. So they're in the same network. Now I'll give you another example. Let's take, class B IP. So I have 125, not 125. Let's take 130.4.5.9. Other one is 130.3.2.7. So are they in a same network or different network? First, I need to check which class. So 130 is class B. So what is the formula for class B? NNHH. So I'll go N.N.H.H. So if they are in the same class, then the first two should match. Here it is 130, here is 130, it's a match. Here it is 4, here is 3, there's no match. So they are in a different network. So this is how you need to understand a formula to see if they are in a same network or in a different network. And third question is, they will ask you, is it a private or public IP? So for that, you need to understand the range. If it is a class A private, if it is 10 dot anything, it's a private. For class B, 172.16.anything till 172.31.anything. So when I say anything, it could be till 0, from 0 till 255, any value. So I represent that with anything. So now you need to understand, is it private or public? And the most important question, they will ask you out of the class B, because in class B, you see 172.16. So you need to check the first octet should be 172, and other has to be between 16 till 31. If it is within this range, then it's private, or else it's public. So this is it about IPv4 addressing. And in some other lecture, I'll come up with subnetting, which is very important concept. But here we understood what is IPv4 addressing. So if there's any questions, please do let me know. I'll cover that in some other videos. And please do like, subscribe, and share. Keep supporting so that I'll come up with some interesting topics. Thank you.